Test 1-2, live from the Suncoast Credit Union Arena. We are awaiting Maryland and DePaul in 45 minutes. Test 1-2. Test 1-2.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Rocket Mortgage is the proud title sponsor of Rocket Mortgage Fort Myers Tip-Off. You want an edge in the competitive market? Rocket can. Fort Myers, islands, beaches, and neighborhoods are spared for maintenance. Elevance Health is the proud title sponsor of the Elevance Health Women's Fort Myers Tip-Off. Elevance Health, your lifetime trusted health partner. Fans, please welcome the Maryland Terrapins.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to Fort Myers, Florida, here at the Suncoast Credit Union Arena for the start of the Elevance Health Fort Myers tip-off. I'm John Vitas, as we will have the stream of all three games here this weekend on the Maryland Radio Network, streaming live on YouTube and the One Maryland app. It's going to be a great weekend of basketball for the Terps. They get a chance to really learn about what they have on this roster. Brenda Fries will join us in just a few minutes and talk about the opportunity to play three quality programs here in beautiful Southwest Florida. Let's start with the starting lineups for today's game. Both teams currently warming up here at the Suncoast Credit Union Arena, which, by the way, is the home of the Florida Southwestern Buccaneers junior college program here in Fort Myers. They are one of the top junior college athletic programs around the country, and they have a sparkling new arena here in Fort Myers. It seats just under 4,000 folks, but it's a perfect size for an event like this, which won't reach capacity, but the fans who are here will be nice and close to the court, and you'll certainly hear some of the crowd noise from the Terrapins fans who have turned out here for Game 1. It's all early start times for Maryland. They'll play at 11 a.m. this morning and then 11:30 a.m. the next 2 days. Today's game will also be on FS2, so you can watch and listen along before tomorrow's games are strictly audio broadcast from a Maryland standpoint. But here are today's starting lineups. It's a similar look for Brenda Fries from what she's done through the first 5 games. Of course, Diamond Miller is in there, healthy and ready to go for all 3 games here this weekend, averaging 21 points per game and coming off an unbelievable performance against Baylor as the Terrapins knocked out the number 17 team in the country last week. Abby Myers, the Princeton transfer, is in there again, and Coach Free is getting a lot of her transfers into the starting 5. Elisa Pinzon will be in there along with Lavender Briggs and Faith Mosonis, the starting 5 for the Terrapins, who come into this tournament with a record of 4-1, their only blemish against the number 1 team in the country, the South Carolina Gamecocks. They are on a 3-game winning streak and are the favorites in all 3 games this weekend, but playing quality opponents. DePaul, a program that has been in the NCAA tournament in 18 of the last 19 seasons under their legendary head coach, Doug Bruno, who is considered one of the best in the country at the helm for the Blue Demons. Here is their starting 5 in this morning's matchup. It'll be Darione Rogers at the guard position, along with Anaya Peoples and Kendall Holmes. It's really a 2-woman show for the Blue Demons in terms of the scoring. They are led by Anissa Morrow, who is averaging 31.5 points per game in the early season, and Rogers at 21.5 points per game on the early season. They account for about half the scoring for DePaul. And then at the forward position, Jory Allen gets the start, number 33, averaging 8 points per game. So Rogers, Peoples, Holmes, Morrow, and Allen for DePaul. And for Maryland, it's Diamond Miller, Abby Myers, Elisa Pinzon, Lavender Briggs, and Faith Mosonis, the starting 5 for the Terrapins. We got a chance to catch up with Brenda Fries yesterday at Maryland's practice, and let's hear from her in advance of today's 11:01 a.m. tip. Brenda Fries. Brenda, how's the trip been so far?
Oh, it's been amazing. I mean, anytime you can get these great temperatures, warm weather, the sun is out, and, it's great chemistry, bonding for your team.
All 11 a.m. games this week. You have a bunch of morning people on the staff and on the team?
Fortunately for us, we do. We've been practicing in the morning by 8 a.m., so that will not be a concern. Most years it is, but for this group, our clocks are wired for the morning.
Such a big win against Baylor coming in here. Diamond Miller with 32 points in that game. What makes her so dynamic?
Well, she's so versatile, and you see why she's, picked to be top 5 in the WNBA draft, and deadly in transition, an incredible scorer, has a 3-way game, and, just makes everyone around her better.
You have a great group of transfers this year, and you get down here to play 3 games in 3 days. Does that afford you the opportunity to get them even more involved and learn more about your team?
It really does. We need as many games as we can build our chemistry together with so many new faces. So I love the fact that it's 3 really, really good teams, great coaching, and we'll know a lot about ourselves after this tournament.
Laura Harper's the head coach at Towson. You get a chance to go up against her, a couple Terps on that side. What's that going to be like, meeting them all the way down here in Florida?
It's crazy, a school that's 30 minutes away from us that we had to come all the way to Florida, but it makes it extra special to, go against Laura Harper, who, was the most outstanding player in our national championship team in 2006. Our video director is now her assistant coach, Joe Glowacki. So a lot of common ties. Ali Kubek transferred from Towson. So a lot of similarities for us with Towson. You have Shanice Lewis at Pitt, who grad transferred there. So just, great to be able to see a lot of extended family down here in Florida.
Yeah, Terps reunion in Fort Myers. Last but not least, DePaul, game 1. What do you know about them? What are going to be some keys to make sure you take care of that first game?
Yeah, well, that game could be 199, and I hope we're on the 100 end. It's going to be a fast-paced game. They want to score within the first 8 to 10 seconds of the shot clock, so we really need to get back in Trans D and make them have to run their offense. From our end, we have to have better ball security, where, turning the ball over is not going to allow us possessions at the offensive end, so just valuing the basketball.
Brenda, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you so much.
We welcome you to the inaugural Advanced Health Women's Fort Myers Tip-Off.
So you hear from Coach Freeze there before the tournament here in Fort Myers, and a great opportunity to play 3 games in 3 days against solid competition. The 3 opponents are unranked, but very talented, and will certainly push the Terrapins over the next 3 days. Let's send it down to PA announcer Alan Woodard for the starting lineups.
Ships such as this one further advances their commitment to address health equity, social injustice, and athlete advocacy. Advanced Health, a real lifetime trusted health partner. And now, let's meet the starting lineups for both teams first. The designated road team on the schedule, the DePaul Blue Demons. A 5'11" guard from Iowa, Illinois, number 21, Ariana Rogers. 5'11" guard from Vanderbilt, Illinois, number 22, Anaya Peoples. 6'1" forward from Chicago, Illinois, number 24, Anissa Morrow. 6-foot forward from Bedford, Indiana, number 33, Jory Allen. 5'11" guard from Plainfield, Illinois, number 35, Kendall Holmes. And now, let's meet the starting lineup of the designated home team on the schedule, the Maryland Terrapins. 6'3" guard from Somerset, New Jersey, number 1, Diamond Miller. 6-foot guard from Potomac, Maryland, number 10, Abby Myers. 5'8" guard from Morano, Italy, number 12, Alicia Pazan. 6'1" guard from Belmar, New Jersey, number 13, Faith Gonzalez. The 6'1" guard from Provo, Utah, number 30, Lavender Briggs. The head coaches. Its 37th season for DePaul is Doug Bruno. In her 21st season for Maryland is Brenda Freeze.
So you hear the introductions here at the Suncoast Credit Union Arena, a beautiful venue for the Elevance Health Fort Myers tip-off. They had their men's tournament Monday through Wednesday. Great teams in here, including some Power 5 programs. And now it's time for the women's tournament. All pre-scheduled games. Maryland knows their opponent all 3 days this weekend. It'll be DePaul today, Towson tomorrow, and Pitt on Sunday. Maryland in their home white uniforms here in game 1 with the red trim and the Maryland flag accents on the shoes, the socks, and the bottom of the shorts. DePaul in the royal blue with the red trim and white numerals and letters. The Blue Demons and the Terrapins ready to go here on day 1 from the Fort Myers tip-off. DePaul with an even record of 2-2, but don't let that fool you. One of the most talented teams in the Big East Conference. Ready to go here from Fort Myers, Florida. Nice contingent of Terrapin fans here in the stands on day 1 in Fort Myers. DePaul wins the tip. They will head from left to right in those blue uniforms. They work it around the arc. First dribble here from Darion Rogers. Cross-court pass to the opposite side for Holmes. Now to the top of the key. This is Allen. Down low and a beautiful cut and lay-in from Anissa Morrow. The player that the Terps need to be aware of. Morrow, the leading scorer on this DePaul team. A big-time threat. There's a feed underneath for Diamond Miller, who tried to roll to the rim, and the pass is knocked out of bounds by DePaul. It'll stay with, oh, nope, it'll be DePaul basketball. A turnover on the first possession for Maryland. Brenda Freese at the helm for your Terps. Now in her 21st season, 10 trips to the Sweet 16, and in the NCAA tournament in 18 of the last 20 seasons. Miller trapping up top on the DePaul possession as they find Allen. And then back up top for Peoples. On the wing, it's a three for Holmes, and it comes up short. Rebound brought in by Masonis. Miller across midcourt, able to find Pinzon. Now into the corner, it's Miller. Between the leg dribble and a reset for Pinzon up top, who fires it down low. Masonis, the right-handed layup goes down. A good find up top for the Terps. Tied at 2, more than a minute in to game 1 of the Fort Myers tip-off. DePaul with it on the far side, it's Peoples. Kicks it to the corner. Another three coming for Morrow, and she buries it. Anissa Morrow with the first 5 points for DePaul. Miller tries the three from the left wing. It comes up short, and only blue jerseys for the rebound. Morrow ends up with it and gives a pass up ahead across midcourt to Peoples. On the far side, this is Rogers with it. Reset to Peoples on the drive. Has to give it up. Long three coming for Morrow. That one's no good. First miss for Morrow, and the rebound to Pinzon and the Terps. Up ahead it goes. This is Lavender Briggs wearing a different jersey here today. She is wearing 30 for Maryland. No name on the back, so switching from 3 to 30. DePaul with it, leading 5-2. That pass was deflected by Briggs, and it's out of bounds. Inbound on the near side for DePaul. They bring it across half court with Kendall Holmes, junior from Illinois. Will lob to the corner for Rogers. Now to the other side for Holmes, and it's out of bounds to the Terps. Maryland down by 3, just over 2 minutes into the first quarter. Game 1 of 3 for the Terrapins here this weekend. Into the corner it goes. Bounce pass to the free throw line. Pull up jumper, no good from Abby Myers, and a rebound to DePaul. This is Rogers across midcourt. Top of the arc defended by Myers. Not much going yet for DePaul on this possession. Handoff far side to Holmes. Cross-court pass to the near side for Morrow. Morrow already with 5, lobs it underneath, deflected by Miller, and then Miller's going to be whistled for the foul, reaching in.
Fouls on Maryland, number 1, Diamond Miller. That's her first team first. Substitution, Maryland, number 5.
First sub in for Maryland. It's Brene Alexander, transfer from Vanderbilt, in for Maryland. Holmes with it, top of the arc, lob inside. Turnaround jumper from the free throw line is no good from Morrow. Morrow getting all the shots early. Here's a pull-up from the elbow, rattles off from Pinzon, and then out of bounds on the baseline. It'll stay with Maryland. DePaul 5, Terrapins 2, 6:58 to go in the first. Baseline inbound coming for Pinzon, who feeds a bounce pass. They work it to the outside. Myers open from beyond the arc. Missed it. High rebound brought in by Holmes. Two teams still feeling each other out here in the early going. Just over 3 minutes in from Fort Myers. On the drive, to the wing it goes. 3 for Holmes, and Holmes buries it for DePaul. An 8-2 lead for the Blue Demons early. Outlet pass out to the far side for Alexander. Now it's Myers circling around. Into the corner it goes. 3 on the way, no good. Rebound handled by Morrow, and then she's hit underneath, and it's going to be a foul on the rebound against Maryland. 6-0 run over a 2-minute span for DePaul. Cheyenne Sellers checks in for Maryland, second sub off the bench today, sophomore from Aurora, Ohio. So it's Alexander and Sellers, the first two off the bench. Myers remains in along with Pinzon. On the baseline, DePaul probing through. Reverse layup is no good from Rogers. Rebound handled by the Terps. That is Sellers with the board, wearing the white headband. Fires to the left side. Myers dumps it down low. Alexander in the post. Reverse layup doesn't go. Off the front of the rim, no good. And handled by DePaul. Rogers will take a long contested three, no good. Alexander has the rebound for the Terrapins. Pinzon finds an open look for the Terrapins, no good. Three was off the mark by Alexander. Pace picking up here in the first quarter between Maryland and DePaul. Lob underneath, caught cleanly by Allen. Allen has to back it all the way out, though, to Holmes. Allen now top of the arc. Swings it left side for Peoples. Peoples gets the ball screen and then shoves the defender to the ground. It's an offensive foul against Peoples. Maryland will get it back. Early call for Bree McDaniel. McDaniel, the freshman from Chicago, will come in to play against the school from her hometown. So Maryland, the inbound from in front of their own bench. They will send it the other way with Pinzon at the point. Top of the arc, here's a three for Sellers. Straight on, is off the heel of the rim, no good. Rebound brought in by Kiki Rimmer. Rimmer in off the bench for DePaul. Holmes at the controls for the Blue Demons. Here is Rogers, dumping it down low. This is Day off the bench, had to reset, and it's knocked away by Maryland. It's going to be out of bounds back to DePaul. Good deflection from McDaniel. And an inbound on the far side for DePaul with 5:02 remaining in the first quarter. DePaul by 6 early on. Crossover for Holmes, shot clock down to 7. Lob to the free throw line for Rimmer. Rimmer backing down the defender, lefty shot no good. Rebound to Maryland. Sellers across midcourt. They swing it to the corner. Pump fake from McDaniel. McDaniel now going to pull it. Back of the rim. Hits the heel of the rim. 2 hops off the rim. And then a foul on the rebound. They're going to say that Myers reached over the back. That'll take us to our first media timeout from the Suncoast Credit Union Arena. Slow start for Maryland. DePaul leads 8-2 here on the Maryland Radio Network.
T-shirt, it's time for our t-shirt toss. If you want a t-shirt, make some noise. Don't forget the fans behind the scores tape.
We welcome you back to the Suncoast Credit Union Arena here in Fort Myers, Florida. I'm John Vitas. It's a pleasure to be with you here this morning. Maryland and DePaul, the first matchup on the women's side of this great event from Fort Myers. Big thank you to the administration at Maryland for entrusting me with the opportunity here in Fort Myers, representing the Maryland class of 2015. Learned so much at the Philip Merrill College of Journalism in College Park, and an opportunity to pay it forward here today, a few years later after graduation. Maryland and DePaul here in the first quarter. At the last second, the Blue Demons switching the inbounder. Doesn't look like the officials will count that against them on the 5-second call. Rimmer gets it in for DePaul again. DePaul in the blue, Maryland in the white. Here in the first matchup for these two teams, they'll both play 3 games here this weekend. Rogers working with it up top for DePaul. McDaniel stays in for Maryland. The freshman getting some early minutes. There's a knockaway for McDaniel, and McDaniel almost had the breakaway, but it's scooped up at the end by Morrow. Morrow going to try a tough contested 3. It's no good. And a one-handed rebound from Alexander. Outlet pass to Sellers the other way. Sellers down the lane. Oh, and she lost her footing and lost it out of bounds. There is no foul call, but they're going to give it to Maryland. I don't think DePaul touched that ball, but they give Sellers the benefit of the doubt. They didn't give her the foul call, so they at least give Maryland the possession underneath. And Pinzon will trigger it in from the baseline. Looking for somebody to outlet it to. She does find Diamond Miller, who's back in after a quick breather early. Open 3 for Alexander. Heel of the rim, no good. Rebounded by Rogers. Oh, Brenda Fries told us in the pregame this might be 100-99 final score. It's been low scoring early, but there's a transition layup for DePaul. Peoples with the layup. DePaul had numbers there on the break. Miller into contact. Miller draws the foul and will go to the free throw line. Diamond Miller, the senior from Somerset, New Jersey, coming off a career-high 32 against Baylor last week in the win in Texas, 73-68 the score. That sent Maryland up the AP poll. They are now up to number 14 in the country, the only ranked team in this event. And again, DePaul at 2-2, but historically one of the top teams in the Big East and certainly around the country as well, as Miller converts on the first free throw. First point of the day for Diamond Miller, who's now averaging 21 points per game for Maryland. The 2021 co-most outstanding player in the Big Ten. Makes the second. It's a 6-point game. Miller tried to jump the route, but was too late. Rimmer on the drive, lost it in the corner. Rimmer trying to tightrope the sideline, lofts a pass to Rogers. DePaul retains possession. Rogers to the baseline, fended off, finds a teammate in the corner. It's Kendall Holmes, and Holmes makes the 3 to give DePaul a 13-4 lead. Just over 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Diamond Miller with it in front of the DePaul bench. Works it towards the middle. Pinzon able to retrieve it off a deflection and resets to Miller. Miller uses the Masonis screen, gets to the corner, fires it back up top to the top of the arc. Here's Briggs for 3. Front of the rim, no. Tapped around and a foul on the rebound. We'll see who they get for it. 2 Blue Demons and 2 Terrapins fighting for that high rebound, and it's going to be a foul against Maryland. Masonis a little too physical on the rebound, so DePaul will get it. Brenda Fries looks down her bench and calls upon Gia Cook. And Cook will come in. Another freshman. Coach Fries has had to incorporate 9 new players on this year's team. 5 transfers, 4 freshmen. There have been a couple of injuries early in the season. They are without Emma Chardon and Ali Kubek at this stage of the year. And so the freshmen are going to get opportunities, it appears, here at the Fort Myers tip-off. We've seen McDaniel, and now we see Cook. DePaul with it, moving from left to right. Here's a drive, scoop pass back to Rogers, and we have a foul against DePaul. Morrow is going to be called for the offensive foul as she tripped trying to set the screen and bumped into a Maryland defender. A Across midcourt, it's Cook. Now Masonis on the near side. Miller in the corner. Dribbles it up top. Now around the back dribble. Almost lost it. Morrow tried for the turnover. Instead, it's Masonis on the baseline. Missed the 10-foot floater. Knocked it out of bounds by DePaul. It'll stay with Maryland. First attempt for Faith Masonis, playing with the knee brace on the left leg. Had ACL surgery in January of this year and is back playing significant minutes less than 10 months after the surgery. There's the lob up top for Miller. Going to have to go all the way to the backcourt to get it and now run the length of the floor with the shot clock down to 17. So Miller across the timeline for the Terps. Couple of screens up top from Masonis. Miller still with it. Gets trapped now. Has to feed it to the corner. Alexander drives the baseline. Resets to Miller. Open for three. You bet. Diamond Miller with the first three of the day for Maryland. Cutting it to a 6-point game. DePaul 13 and Maryland now with 7 with 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Slow start for the Terps, but still alive early on. Rogers will hand off up top to Rimmer. And then Rimmer had it poked free from behind. Masonis tried to dive for it to save it. And it's going to be Maryland ball. That was McDaniel on the poke away, and they say that Masonis touched it after the ball already went out of bounds. So it tipped off DePaul, and Maryland will get possession. This is Cook, the freshman, bringing it across midcourt with 1:47 and counting remaining in the first quarter. Cook works it to the left sideline. One-on-one with the defender, leans in on Holmes and draws the foul. Give credit to Gia Cook, the freshman from Clinton, Maryland. Sending her teammates away, isolated with Holmes, and took Holmes right off the dribble. So 2 free throws here for Gia. First one is up and good. Makes it a 5-point game here in quarter number 1. These two teams seem to still be adjusting to each other, to this arena, to this event. It's early. 11 a.m. start time. Maryland normally practices in the morning, and Coach Free said they have a lot of morning people on the staff. But it has been a slow offensive start for the Terps, and there's an unforced error from DePaul. Allen dribbled it off her own toe, and it goes out of bounds to Maryland. Another DePaul turnover. Maryland with the basketball down only 4. Cook with a couple of screens up top. Masonis rolls. Cook pulls up her dribble and kicks to Miller. Diamond Miller to the corner. Open look for Alexander for 3. That one's no good. Knocked around on the rebound. It ends up with Maryland. Alexander hustling to the top of the arc to get it. Cook will pull up along 2. Rattles off. Masonis crashing the boards. And it's knocked out of bounds by DePaul. Maryland will get another opportunity. Shot clock resets to 20 for the Terps. They'll get, looks like 3 field goal attempts off on this possession. Cook will fire it up top for Miller, who rolled backwards, now drives forward, inside the arc, backs it out, looking for a teammate. It's Cook on the left side. A minute to play in the first. Into the corner it goes. Lob from Masonis, too high. It's a Maryland turnover. Morrow headed the other way across midcourt, feeds a cutting teammate, and the layup is down for Rogers. Pretty pass from the Blue Demons. They lead by 6 again. 45 seconds to go and counting. Cook with it, right side. Feeds to McDaniel in the right corner. McDaniel off the Masonis screen. Backing it inside. Gets into the lane, but it's knocked away. That was Peoples on the steal. Up ahead to Holmes. Holmes to the top of the key. Here's a drive from Rogers. Had to back it out. And Miller drilling the play. Knocks it away. Miller with it. The other direction for Maryland. Miller to the free throw line will back it out. Maryland will hold for the final shot. The shot clock is off with 17 seconds and counting. Terps trail by 6 here in quarter number 1. Diamond Miller will burn some clock. It gets down to 10 seconds. Miller off the screen from Masonis. Pulls up with 5 seconds. The three-pointer is no good. And then a foul on the rebound. Masonis had position down low. And Holmes will be called for the over the back. And I believe that will put Maryland in the bonus. It does. That is the 5th foul of the quarter against DePaul. So Faith Masonis will have 2 free throws. Average 6.5 points per game through her last 2 seasons with Maryland. Misses the free throw there, averaging 7.5 per game so far this season, despite playing through that ACL injury. Second free throw is good. Makes it a 15-10 game. 2 seconds to go. Half-court shot is off from Morrow, but short. Offensive rebound by Rimmer as the buzzer sounds, so not able to get the shot off in time. Maryland hanging tough. They have not been hitting their outside shots, but down only 5 at the end of one quarter. It's DePaul 15 and Maryland 10 from Fort Myers, Florida. You're listening to the Fort Myers Tip-Off.
Fort Myers Middle Academy to our games this morning.
John Vitas bringing you back on the Maryland Radio Network. 15-10, DePaul leads. A 2 for 18 start from the field for Maryland. That is not going to continue. Water finds its level. Terps are going to start hitting some shots at a higher clip. But really not in a bad position, only down by 5 despite that slow shooting start. DePaul is right on their average, 46% from the field in the first quarter. This is a great venue here for a Thanksgiving event. 3,500 seat arena, the home of the Junior College Florida Southwestern Buccaneers. Gia Cook with it for Maryland, still working from right to left. They fire the first possession down low from Masonis, missed the bank shot too strong, and here comes DePaul again. Blue Demons by 5. This is Morrow, their leading scorer. On the near side, Rogers had to give it up. Morrow with a 3 is good. Right elbow, Morrow hits the 3 to give the Blue Demons an 8-point lead. Cook drives left, down the lane, into 3. Blue jersey, scooped it up, but missed it off the side of the backboard. Here comes DePaul and Holmes. On the drive, this is Rogers all the way through. Missed the bank shot. Offensive rebound is blocked by Miller. Out of bounds on the block from Diamond Miller, who was 1 for 3 from the field in the first quarter. Did have a couple of free throws. Miller with 5 points so far to lead Maryland. Brene Alexander returns. She'll replace Sellers here early in the second quarter. Masonis guarding the inbounder. It's a baseline inbound for DePaul. Lob up top for Peoples. Or rather, Rogers with it on the near side. Guarded by Alexander. Turns down the baseline, shielded off Nowhere to go. Has to bounce pass. Morrow from the outside. That three is no good. Offensive rebound to Holmes, and her putback is good. Check it. That is Jory Allen with the layup underneath with Maryland in position, just able to hook it over the defender. It's a 10-point lead now for the Blue Demons. This is not the game we expected. Brenda Fries said she was expecting it to be in the 90s. It's only 20-10, and we're in the second quarter. Bounce pass underneath. This is Miller, double teamed, has to reset. Three coming for Myers, and it's good. Abby Myers connects from long range, and Maryland cuts it to 7. Holmes across midcourt, dribbled it off her foot, pins onto the floor for it, but Holmes now will dive and get it to a teammate. That is Rimmer up top. Now on the far side, it's Rogers. Rogers around the back, dribble defended by Alexander. Top of the arc with 10 to shoot. Now on the outside, it's a three, and it's down. Kiki Rimmer hits the three, and it's a 10-point lead for DePaul. Pinson back in. She played the first part of the first quarter and then was on the bench towards the end. USF transfer gives it to Miller. Miller down the lane into the corner. Alexander wide open, but it's an offensive foul. Miller called for the charge after she had given it up to Alexander. More subs for Brenda Fries. Mila Reynolds checks in for the first time for Maryland. So the first time we've seen her. DePaul with it near side, leading by 10. On the free throw line, it's a good hard drive, but the layup is missed, and Alexander rips away the rebound. Great opportunity for DePaul, missed there. Here's the kick out. Pinson thought about the three, gets it inside, shovels it to the baseline. 7-foot jumper, no good. It's batted around, won by Maryland. Inside feed and a layup. Good hustle from the Terrapins. Alexander gets the two. Inside feed, I believe, from Myers. And Maryland cuts it to 8 again. There are some Terps fans in the building making some noise, trying to will their team back in after a slow offensive start. On the near side, an open three, but a foul underneath. It went down for Rogers, but it won't count. Two players got tied up underneath, and the foul is going to go against Maryland. That's Reynolds getting tied up underneath. Reynolds, the freshman from South Bend, is in the game. So we've seen 3 of the 4 freshmen on the court already for Maryland. They have played sparingly through the first 5 games of the season. They've all gotten some action, but not in every game. There's a long contested three. Wild shot, offensive rebound, though, brought in by Allen. Allen now double teamed. Into the corner, finds an open teammate. That is Rogers for 3. Missed the wide open shot, and the rebound to Reynolds. Long outlet pass. Here's Myers stepping through traffic, and Myers is able to stick it. Tough play from Myers off the feed from Pinson. 6-point game again. DePaul with 23-17 lead. No call on the contact. Jumper is no good from DePaul. Offensive rebound, open three rattles off, and another rebound brought in by Rimmer. Rimmer uses the window, no good. It's knocked around again on the rebound. They're going to call a foul on Maryland. Alexander will get, oh no, it's going to be on DePaul. So Alexander draws the foul. And Alexander now will inbound under the Maryland hoop. So Pinson will slow it down. DePaul has been firing the ball up and down the court and taking quick shots, which is what we expected. They do have a 6-point lead. Alexander at the elbow. Hands to Briggs. Briggs circling through the free throw line, kicks to the corner. It's an open look for Pinson. Her three is up and down. Pinson with the triple from the corner. Maryland cuts it to a 3-point game, and DePaul will use a timeout with 6:09 remaining in the first half. We'll be right back on the Maryland Radio Network.
It is a media timeout. Media timeout. Fans, it's time for the Old Trafford timeout competition. Please welcome Brianna Brianna will have 30 seconds to try to win great prizes, including Old Trafford beef jerky and merch. The contest will start by trying to make a layup. Next, they'll proceed to the free throw line, followed by a three-pointer, and then end with a half-court shot. Brianna, are you ready? On your mark, get set, and go! And she has to make a layup before going to the free throw line. She's in it now, she has to make a free throw. One more try, fans, let's cheer her on. She makes it now, she's in a three-pointer. She can go from the most inner three-point line if need be. 10 seconds. You can go to the inner three-point line. We're going to high school rules. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it's time. Brianna, nice try. Don't worry, you're still going home with an Old Trafford prize pack. Congratulations. Thank you for playing the Fort Myers St. Paul Shootout. We're thanking of Old Trafford for their support.
The Terrapins break the huddle on a 7-0 run over just a minute and 15 seconds. DePaul, meanwhile, has missed their last 6 shots. Ball back in play for Holmes and the Blue Demons. Blue Demons 23 and Maryland 20 with 6 minutes remaining in the first half. The offense hasn't quite been as efficient as we expected on both sides, but still a hard-fought game. And Alexander is going to be called for out of bounds on the baseline after she had the steal, but her right shoe just barely touching that end line. And so DePaul will get it back. They say she never had possession, so 16 seconds on the shot clock for DePaul. Here is Morrow, has to kick to Holmes. Holmes from the wing. Her three is up and no good, knocked out of bounds to Maryland.
Maryland basketball.
So Maryland can tie with a 3 here, after they trailed by as many as 10 in this game. Down to a 3-point game. Pinzon walks it up for Maryland. Top of the arc, Briggs the handoff. Pinzon circles to the far side, now brings it back towards the middle. Fires cross court to the opposite corner for Myers. Abby Myers backing down her defender, pulls up from the elbow, fadeaway jumper, no good. Tapped around, long rebound to Myers, same spot, another jumper, no good. And the rebound to Morrow and DePaul. Up ahead it goes. Holmes with it to the top of the arc. Morrow was all alone, decided to pass. Now she gets it back. She'll tee it up for 3. Side of the rim off the mark. Offensive rebound again. Put back is good. That is Allen with the jumper, and it's a 5-point lead again for DePaul. Here's Pinzon one-on-one, top of the arc. Maryland setting screens along the baseline. Circling around Myers, has to give it up. Bounce pass underneath, knocked away by Allen. It's a turnover. Across midcourt, Holmes now trapped at the half-court line. Holmes had it poked free. It hits the official, stays inbounds, and now it goes out of bounds off DePaul. Maryland will get possession. Good, tough defense up top from Pinzon, who was joined by Alexander. And Maryland forces the turnover with a little help from the official. It hit his leg and stayed in bounds. Alexander now with the inbound in front of the DePaul bench. She lobs to Reynolds, and they reset to Alexander. Renee Alexander, the Vanderbilt transfer captain on this team, gives it to Briggs up top. Briggs will step back and fire the long jump shot off the front of the rim. Rebound tapped around and won by Allen of DePaul. Here comes Morrow into a couple white jerseys, resets to the outside. Holmes on the drive. Holmes puts up the floater and hit it just inside the free throw line, falling sideways towards the Maryland bench. Holmes able to hit the jump shot and extend the lead back up to 7 for DePaul. A timeout from Maryland with 4:18 to go. It's the Blue Demons 27 and the Terrapins 20. Quick 30-second timeout there. Maryland will have the basketball. Will have to go the length of the court with a fresh shot clock. Masonis back in. Will inbound to Pinzon. So Maryland down by 7 with just over 4 minutes to go in the first half. Pinzon uses the screen, dribbles through the legs, and resets to Briggs. Briggs drives left at the free throw line, has to kick it out. Pinzon dribbling through traffic at the free throw line, pulls up, bounce pass to the other direction. Here's a long 2 for Briggs. It's off the mark. Rebounded by Rimmer, and here come the Blue Demons. Towards the top of the arc. On the right side, now it was lost, stolen by Maryland. Alexander the outlet pass, Pinzon with a 3-on-2, pulls up from the elbow and gets the roll. Hit the rim 3 times and went down for Pinzon. Makes it a 5-point game. Maryland has cut it to 27-22. Oh, Briggs almost got the steal for an easy layup. Instead, DePaul fires it around on the right side. Here's a 3 for Rimmer, and she got it. Kiki Rimmer with her second 3 of the day. Long pass ahead to Masonis, intercepted by Peoples. Rogers across the half court now for DePaul. Rogers fires it down low, and it's an easy layup for Anissa Morrow. Oh, Brenda Fries isn't going to like that. Maryland late getting down the court in transition. A 10-point lead for DePaul. And then a Maryland turnover as Briggs threw it away. Nobody was home in the far corner, and Briggs just launched it to nobody. And she'll come out along with Pinzon. Gia Cook back in for Maryland, along with Sellers. 3 minutes and counting. DePaul with some full court press from Cook. Around the back dribble from Allen. Allen gets it across half court. Cook tried to draw the foul but didn't get the call. Oh, good crossover by DePaul. Layup is off the mark, but free throw is coming for Anissa Morrow. Morrow made a great move and got all the way to the rim, but a contested layup was off the mark. Morrow very comfortable playing in this arena. Morrow is a transfer from Miami-Dade College, which is a rival of Florida Southwestern, the junior college that plays in this arena. Morrow played here each of the last 2 seasons as she misses the free throw there. Had 19 points in this gym last year against FSW, 8 of 17 from the field. A solid performance, 19 points for Morrow in this arena. Makes 1 free throw. It's a 33-22 lead for DePaul. Here comes Maryland. Ball was loose underneath, and it's out of bounds. Another Terps turnover. Sellers asking the official for a foul as it was poked away from behind. Almost ended up in the lap of another Terp, but it could not be controlled underneath. 11-point lead for DePaul with just over 2.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. This is Rimmer, top of the arc, defended by the Terps. Lefty floater is good. Tough shot from Kiki Rimmer, showing a strong left hand, and it's a 13-point lead for the Blue Demons. Maryland needs some offense. Masonis on the far side, fires it cross court, into the corner. Sellers is open for 3, got it! Cheyenne Sellers with a much-needed bucket for Maryland to bring it back down to a 10-point margin. Sellers, the 3rd leading scorer on the team at 11 points per game. shooting over 50% on the season, and a big shot there. On the left side, here's the drive from Morrow. Fadeaway 16-footer, rattles off, and Sellers is there for the rebound. Cheyenne Sellers, outlet pass to Cook. Cook slicing through. Floater in the lane is good. Aggressive move from Gia Cook to hit the 2. It's 5 quick points for Maryland to make it an 8-point game. And then a foul beyond the arc as Rogers was just kind of pushing towards the corner. It's a blocking foul against the Terps. It'll just be a side out, the 4th foul against Maryland. Next one will put DePaul in the bonus. Blue Demons 35, Terrapins 27 with 1:30 to go in the first half. Holmes gets it on the logo, fires it up top for Rogers. Defended by McDaniel. Rogers changes directions a couple times, gets a screen, Cook over to help. Morrow on the drive, and she's called for an offensive foul. Alexander slid over to draw it. Might have been moving, but Morrow out of control, lowered the shoulder. And an offensive foul against the Blue Demons. That'll bring Peoples in off the bench with 1:18 on the clock. Cook at the point guard spot right now for the Terrapins. Works it across the Rocket Mortgage logo on the left side. Masonis now top of the key. Gives it to McDaniel. McDaniel, a drive, got by her defender but missed the layup, and then comes back in and earns the jump ball for the Terps. It will be DePaul's ball, although Maryland would get it to start the third quarter, assuming there's no other tie-ups in the final 1 minute and 4 seconds. Good aggressive play after the miss. Blue Demons will get it, though, with an 8-point lead. Maryland setting up a full-court trap as Rogers gets set to send it in under her own hoop. Rogers sends it in and gets it back. Rogers, defended by Cook, fires ahead to Holmes. Holmes to the free throw line. On the other side, bounce pass underneath. Allen with good position. It was poked free for a second by Sellers. Sellers gets another block. Holmes has to heave the 3. It's short, and the rebound ricochets out to Masonis. Here comes Cook across half court. Blazing speed from Gia Cook. Hands to Masonis in the corner. Masonis on the drive on the baseline. Bounce pass up top. Alexander open for 3. No good. Long rebound brought in by Masonis. McDaniel thought about the 3 and will reset. A fresh 20 for Maryland with 30 seconds to go in the half. 13 now on the shot clock. Left side, Sellers open for 3, but it's short. High rebound to Holmes of DePaul with 22 seconds to go, and the Blue Demons can hold for the final shot. 8-point lead for DePaul with 15 seconds to go in the half. Burning some time up top, it's Rogers. Rogers with the logo with 8 seconds, crosses over on McDaniel. Backs up, long 3 is no good. Rebound to Maryland with 3 seconds. Ahead to Sellers. Sellers, a half-court shot at the buzzer is no good. Caught the backboard, but no rim. And Maryland will head to the locker room down by 8. Not a good half for the Terps, but score-wise, they are in this game, and you expect the shooting to be much better in the second half. 35-27, DePaul with the lead. Here on the Maryland Radio Network, we'll be back in a few minutes with some stats and the start of the second half here from Fort Myers. John Venus bringing you back to the Suncoast Credit Union Arena here on the Maryland Radio Network. Your score at halftime, DePaul 35 and Maryland 27. Let's give you some of the first half stats here from Fort Myers. And, Brenda Fries and her staff will not be thrilled with this box score. Everybody in single digits. 3 players with 5 points, but nobody more than that. Abby Myers, 2 out of 6 from the field for 5 points. Elisa Pinzon with 5 points on 2 of 4 from the field. Diamond Miller, 5 points on just 1 out of 3 from the floor. And only 8 minutes and 54 seconds on the court for Diamond Miller. She had 2 fouls, so it was limited to just 8 minutes. If you're looking for a bright spot for Maryland, while that's not a good note, it is good that she's going to play more minutes in the second half, we presume. So more Diamond Miller should mean more success for Maryland in the second half, one of the top players in the country, and projected to go in the first round of the WNBA draft in the spring. Maryland used 11 players in that first half. We didn't get Ava Ciola's name out there, but she did play a minute and a half in the first half. Gia Cook had 4 points off the bench. No rebounds, but she really did push some tempo in that second quarter for the Terps. So look for Cook to maybe get some more time on the basketball in the second half for Maryland, down by 8. Terps shot 2 of 18 in the first quarter. They did pick it up in the second quarter, 7 out of 17 from the field, which is 41%. But overall in the first half, just 26% for the Terps, way below their season average. So expect that to come up. It wasn't a great flow for Maryland, but they did get some good looks late that they did not hit outside jumpers on. DePaul, meanwhile, shot 39% from the field. That's also below their season average. DePaul averaging well over 80 points per game on the season. They are an offensive juggernaut. So there should be a lot more good open looks, quick buckets in the second half. The tempo should pick up. In fact, the exact number is 89 points per game on the season for the Blue Demons. Both teams held under 40 in the first half. So expect the scoring to pick up, expect the pace to pick up, and certainly the efficiency for Maryland as well. Terps coming off their biggest win of the season against Baylor. That was quite a performance by the Terps down in Waco last week to get them up in the rankings, now up to number 14 in the country. We're going to play about a minute and a half worth of highlights put out by the Maryland multimedia staff here at halftime. We are just over 10 minutes until the start of the second half here from Fort Myers. You're listening to the Maryland Radio Network. We welcome you back to the Suncoast Credit Union Arena here in Fort Myers, Florida. John Vitas with you on the Maryland Radio Network. Terrapins retaking the court here in Fort Myers, trailing by 8 here at the half. We have 3 minutes until the start of the second half. Wanted to give you kind of a preview at the Maryland weekend that is here around the country. A lot of great action up and down women's college basketball and Maryland as an institution as well. Coming up at 4 o'clock this afternoon, Maryland men's basketball will play Coppin State, which of course means the return of the great Juan Dixon to College Park. Juan, a member of the national championship team, will be back coaching Coppin State, a team that took Georgetown to overtime. And they're a really solid mid-major program. He has built them up into a power in their respective conference. So they will be at the Xfinity Center at 4 o'clock. And of course, we will have the call of that on our airwaves as well. Also coming up this weekend, Maryland football will wrap up their regular season against Rutgers tomorrow at noon. So we'll be on the air overlapping with them for about an hour in the afternoon tomorrow. This Maryland women's basketball team playing their first of 3 games here this weekend, all of them here at the Suncoast Credit Union Arena. It'll be an 11:30 tip the next 2 days. Maryland will play Towson tomorrow. There'll be some familiar faces on the coaching staff for Towson. And then on Sunday, it'll be a matchup with Pittsburgh. On paper, at least, all the teams in this tournament have a solid record so far this year. But on paper, Pitt will be the toughest matchup of the 3. They are the highest-rated team in the net and the RPI that Maryland will have to contend with. But they have their hands full with DePaul right now, trailing by 8 as we look at some scores from around women's college basketball. There's one other ranked game going on at the moment, and it's also here in Fort Myers. The Gulf Coast Showcase taking place at Hertz Arena, which is the home of the Florida Everblades ECHL hockey team. They are hosting their 8-team tournament, and they have a few ranked teams in the field, including number 21 Baylor, who has a 48-23 lead on St. Louis. They are just starting the second half over at Hertz Arena, and it's a big lead early for the Baylor Bears. 12 o'clock starts around women's college hoops. So a couple ranked matchups getting going as we speak. Number 10, Louisville at home against Longwood at noon. And a Big East matchup that, 2 teams that DePaul will face later in the season. Number 16, Creighton visiting Xavier in Cincinnati at the Cintas Center. That is also a noon tip-off. And another ranked Big East team, number 23, Villanova, will be at home at 1:30 this afternoon against Belmont. That is also at Hertz Arena here in Fort Myers, Florida, for that tremendous tournament, the Gulf Coast Showcase. They had a mid-major field of men's teams Monday through Wednesday, and FGCU, the local team here in Fort Myers, won the championship at the men's Gulf Coast Showcase. Their women's program, one of the winningest programs in college basketball history, the number 1 winning percentage in college basketball history. They're in Honolulu, Hawaii at 5 p.m. against number 2 Stanford. So all kinds of college basketball, all kind of leading back here to Southwest Florida today as Maryland visits what really is a basketball city here in Fort Myers. Ready to go. Maryland will now shoot left to right. Hopefully looking at a new basket will help them offensively after just shooting 26% from the field in the first half. Ball is inbound into Pinzon, and we are underway here in half number 2 between Maryland and DePaul. Terps in the white, Blue Demons in the royal blue with red accents, both teams with red accents and lettering on their uniforms. Terps work it around. Diamond Miller crashes the baseline and gets blocked on her first attempt. That was Allen coming over to swat it away. Baseline inbound for Pinzon, USF transfer. Bounce pass underneath. Masonis on the cut, and she gets blocked as well. Good defense from Morrow, who is the only player in double digits in the first half. Morrow had 11. Only 4 of 12, though, from the field. She did have 4 rebounds as well. Played 19 out of the 20 minutes. Rogers, their second leading scorer, played all 20. There's a great scoop shot. Miller driving the lane is able to bank it in. Just her second basket of the game makes it a 6-point margin. Allen across to Holmes. Maryland providing some on-ball pressure. Right side now Rogers uses the screen. Tries to drive inside, nowhere to go. Good defense early from the Terps. Dares a feed on the block. Lefty hook shot is good. Allen able to score right through Briggs. And now Briggs gets the outlet pass across midcourt. Briggs hands in the corner to Myers. Myers swings. Here's Pinzon on the far side. Pinzon bounce past Masonis. Isolated. Here's Myers on the cut at the free throw line. Lost it. Taken away by DePaul. This is Peoples the other direction over Miller. Miller bothered the shot. It's no good. And then it's ripped away by Diamond Miller, but it goes out of bounds to DePaul. Good defense from Miller. But the Blue Demons do get it back as McDaniel quickly comes in for Briggs. So the freshman McDaniel getting some extended time here. Now over 9 minutes on the court so far in this game. Good feed off the inbound, but the layup was missed by Peoples. Well-designed play by Doug Bruno. Here's Miller the other way. Miller through traffic. Lefty scoop shot is good. Diamond Miller trying to assert herself early here in the third quarter. Makes it a 6-point game. Here's a trap for the Terps just across the timeline. And a smart play by Rogers, able to bank it off the knee of Myers and hang on to the ball. Myers now will come out and Mila Reynolds will come in. So a clear focus on the freshmen today for Brenda Freeze. Getting all 4 freshmen some more minutes than usual. On the near side, it's Holmes. Fires across court. Oh, from the logo, a long 3 is no good from Rogers. That was a really wild shot by Rogers. Did get the rim, but no good. Miller gets inside with a beautiful Euro step. Missed the floater. Gets her own miss. Back up with it and is fouled. Diamond Miller coming out invigorated here in the third quarter. Has taken the first 3 shots for the Terps, and she'll go to the line to shoot 2. Only 5 points in the first half. She averages 21. Already up to 9, and we'll get 2 free throws here. We are nearly 2 minutes into the second half. Maryland trailed by 8 at the half. Miller's first is no good. They're down 6 right now. And DePaul, a high-powered offensive team, averaging 89 points per game. Maryland converts on the second. Miller splits the pair. It's 37-32 DePaul. Allen dribbles it across the midcourt line and hands to Rogers. Right side, they work it to the corner for Holmes. Holmes dribbles it back towards the middle and gives it off. Here's Allen, drop step, lost her dribble, shovels it on the baseline to Rimmer. Rimmer dribbles it back towards the middle. On the left side, this is Peoples. Peoples resets to Allen. 6 to shoot. Allen on the drive, defended by Miller. Here comes the double team, knocked away by McDaniel. Wild shot at the buzzer, no good. It rims off to the right and goes out of bounds to Maryland. Outstanding defensive possession from the Terps. Almost forced a shot clock violation, but a long off-balance 3 was good enough to get the stop. Pinzon brings it across the timeline with 7:30 to go in the third quarter. Terps building a little momentum early in the second half. Miller on the drive, kicks it out. Corner 3, McDaniel spins off the rim, tapped around, and it's rebounded by Rimmer for DePaul. Bounce pass in transition. Allen the layup, she missed it. Just enough defense there from Reynolds. Here comes Pinzon down the lane into 3 blue jerseys. It's knocked out of bounds by DePaul. Maryland will get it back with 7:04 to go. So as we expected, the pace just continues to heat up between a couple of teams that can really score it. Pinzon had a little trouble getting it in. Does find Reynolds on the 3-point line. Now it's Miller. Miller left side, brings it up top, circles around, still beyond the arc, steps back for 3. Side of the rim, no good, and the rebound handled by Allen of DePaul. Outlet pass. Here comes Peoples. Peoples across midcourt will pull up at the 3-point line on the left side. Resets to Allen, who's left alone for 3, and her 3 splashes through. Jory Allen for 3 gives DePaul an 8-point lead again. And then a steal ripped away by Rimmer. All alone on the layup, and the lefty layup goes down, and it's a double-digit lead once again for the Blue Demons. Pinzon just not paying attention, and Rimmer gets the steal and the layup. 42-32 DePaul. McDaniel swings to the right side for Miller. Miller in the corner. Drives on Rimmer, now backs it out. All the way around, finds a teammate. McDaniel down the baseline. McDaniel into contact, missed the shot. Rebound to the Blue Demons. Rogers fires it up ahead to Peoples. Peoples into a sea of white jerseys. Gets defended well by Reynolds. On the right side now. Peoples circles through, got a step, missed the layup. Offensive rebound, Allen. Her shot was disrupted by Miller, and the rebound down to McDaniel. Miller across midcourt for Maryland, down by 10. Crossover dribble at the free throw line. Gets trapped by 3 blue jerseys, and then Masonis dives to save it. Miller cross-court pass, Pinzon open for 3. It's good. Eliza Pinzon for 3 to make it a 7-point game again. Little full-court pressure here from Masonis. DePaul with it at the midcourt line, around the back dribble. And now on the drive, Rogers met by the help defender. Masonis is going to be called for the foul as she came over to seal off the lane. A second on Masonis, joining Miller in the category with 2. But they'll both stay in here with 5:11 to go. Pinzon will come out along with Reynolds. Briggs returns for Maryland. She'll replace McDaniel. A 7-point lead for the Blue Demons. Rogers has 2 free throws. Number 21 for DePaul. First one is up and good. So Miller now into double figures for the Terps. Sellers comes over to the scorer's table. Second free throw is good as well, as Sellers comes in for Miller. So they're not going to let Miller pick up her third, just 11 seconds away from the next media timeout. So Sellers in there as Gia Cook brings it up for the Terrapins. Cook over to her head coach and Brenda Fries. Looks around for the set, has to go to the far corner. Here is Sellers on the drive, working on Rogers. Swings it to the corner now on the near side. That was Alexander having to kick. Sellers stuck with it. 10 to shoot, drives the baseline. On the baseline, this is Cook. Gets inside, lost the handle. It's kicked out to Briggs. Briggs gets inside. Her bank shot doesn't go. Ball is loose. Cook gets to it. Cook puts up a wild shot off the window. It's no good and rebounded by Peoples. DePaul with a good stop there. They fire it up ahead to Holmes. Just over 4:30 remaining in the third. Holmes circles around. Kicks to the near side. Crossover dribble. Maryland traps. They are able to lob it to Holmes. Holmes to Allen at the top of the arc. Shot clock down to 9 for DePaul. Here's Rogers. Rogers looking around, has to give it up. Rimmer, the contested 3 is blocked. Give the block to Brene Alexander. Briggs now at the half-court line, fires ahead to Cook. And Cook will back it out with no numbers for Maryland. Just over 4 minutes to go in the third. Masonis with it now, calls out a play. Swings it to Sellers. Sellers will dribble through the legs, kicks to the corner. Gia Cook is open for 3. It's short. High rebound, tapped around. Briggs, the shovel pass. Layup is down for Masonis. Great pass from Briggs. And Faith Masonis will have a chance for a 3-point play when we come back here on the Maryland Radio Network. Terps get it back down to single digits, still trailing DePaul here in the third quarter of the Elevance Health Fort Myers tip-off.
November 16th, Elevance Health unveiled an upgraded fitness space for student athletes at Huron Riverside High School in Indianapolis. In partnership with the Impact Fitness Foundation, Elevance Health volunteers, including members of the WBB's Indiana Fever, spent 2 days renovating the space.
As part of their commitment to health equity, Elevance Health has partnered with the Impact Fitness Foundation to help improve the lives of students near their Indianapolis headquarters. Here in Riverside High School needed a strength and fitness space so their student athletes, over 60% of whom are girls, could have access to proper equipment and training. Because of their focus on whole health and their support of local communities, Elevance Health got involved. For 2 days, volunteers brought the redesigned weight room to life, New aids and equipment transform the space into a first-class training facility. Elevance Health is committed to being a leader that takes action against inequities, working in partnership with like-minded organizations like the Impact Fitness Foundation across the country.
We want to thank once again Elevance Health for being a title sponsor for Fort Myers Women's Tip-Off.
John Vitas welcoming you back to Fort Myers, Florida. First of 3 games for your Maryland Terrapins here at the Elevance Health Fort Myers tip-off. Maryland down by 7 with 3:49 to go in the third quarter. Faith Masonis will have 1 free throw after converting a layup on a great pass from Lavender Briggs. Free throw is up and good. Abby Myers back in for Maryland. She has been their top transfer. Brenda Freese bringing in 5 outstanding transfers who all average double digits at their respective schools, but Myers has made the largest impact early in the season. Full court pressure for Maryland. DePaul needed 7 seconds to get it over. Some good diagonal passing to break that press. Here's Rogers on the dribble. Hands to Allen. Back to Rogers. Down the baseline. Lost her defender. Puts up the floater. Missed it short. And it's tapped out of bounds to the Terps. Credit Alexander for earning that rebound off the deflection. And Sellers is going to bring it up for the Terps. Down by 6 with 3:23 to go. Sellers gets the Miller screen right back to Diamond Miller, who's now into double digits. Drives through 2 defenders. Missed the layup, but will go to the line. What an aggressive maneuver by Diamond Miller to step through 2 defenders. Third foul on Holmes. Miller, the former New Jersey Gatorade Player of the Year, a 3-time state champion at Franklin High School, now in her 4th year with Maryland. On the Drysdale Award watch list, the Naismith Trophy watch list. Misses the first free throw here, though. One of the top players in the country trying to get her team back in front in this game. She does make the second to make it a 5-point game. DePaul 44, Maryland 39. Full court press again from the Terps. Rimmer comes back to help out her teammates. Fires it up ahead to Holmes. Cross-court pass. Rogers on the drive. Met by a help defender. Trapped in the corner. Rogers looking, trying to find somebody. And it's going to be a timeout. Doug Bruno will use a timeout with 2:59 remaining in the third. Coach Bruno recently inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame in Tennessee. We'll have to use a timeout, which will stretch to a full media timeout. We'll be back in 2 minutes here on the Maryland Radio Network. Terps try to put some pressure on the Blue Demons.
Doug Bruno entered his 37th year as a head coach for the Blue Demons, leading them to more than 700 wins, 25 NCAA tournament appearances, and 4 Sweet 16s. The Blue Demons have been ranked in the WBCA Academic Top 25 13 times under his watch and have earned multiple Big East Team Academic Awards for its top team GPA in the conference. Coach Bruno is a 3-time Big East Coach of the Year and 3-time WBCA Regional Coach of the Year. Coach Bruno has been assistant for the USA Women's Basketball National Team, winning Olympic gold in London in 2012 and in Rio in 2016. For more than 40 years, he has helped to grow the game of women's basketball through his Doug Bruno's Girls Basketball Camps. And finally, this past June, Coach Bruno was inducted to the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. So fans, please join us in congratulating Coach Bruno on this incredible honor.
We welcome you back to the Elevance Health Fort Myers tip-off here on the Maryland Radio Network. DePaul leads by 4. Both teams in the huddle. Brenda Fries has been very vocal here in the second half. The first couple breaks in the first half, as the coaches got together to discuss the approach to the timeout, it was Faith Masonis, the most vocal in that huddle. Diamond Miller, very vocal as well, trying to get these freshmen to realize the opportunity here and also realize what they have to lose. Maryland up to number 14 in the AP poll. They'll be the favorite in all 3 games this weekend. So really, as great of an opportunity as it is to expand the rotation, get new players some additional minutes, Maryland's supposed to win all 3 games. So in order to hold serve and maintain their ranking, they really do have to win all 3. And they've got their hands full right now with DePaul. Both teams shooting close to 15 or 20 points below their season average right now. Maryland at just 27% for the game. DePaul at 35%. Blue Demons have hit a skid here in the second half. They are just 2 for 11 here in the second half, and they're on a 2-minute and 12-second scoring drought. So Maryland has really ratcheted up the defensive pressure, but the offense still hasn't been efficient enough to regain the lead. It is just a 5-point margin at the moment as Holmes gets the bounce pass off the inbound for DePaul. This is Rogers circling around, tried to back it out, and another good defensive play by Maryland. Miller steps in and knocks it away after Alexander provided the initial pressure. Here's Gia Cook, dribbles through the legs, and calls for Sellers to come over and get the handoff. 2:40 to go in the third quarter. Maryland down by 5. Sellers swings. Oh, Miller almost had it ripped away by Rogers, but able to get it back. Kicks to Sellers. Open for 3? No. Short on the 3. Rebound to Morrow, who's been quiet of late. The leading scorer for DePaul. Oh, Cook gets the steal. Cook breaks away and lays it in left-handed. Gia Cook came in out of nowhere and poked that ball away. Full court pressure again for Maryland. It's down to a 3-point game. Allen fires ahead and finds a wide open Rimmer. Maryland retreating on defense. Rimmer's floater off the glass, no good. Gets her own miss. Second attempt, no good. Miller, the weak side rebound, wants to run for the Terrapins. Under 2 to go. On the near side, it's Myers for the tie. No. Missed it off the front rim. Rimmer to the rebound for DePaul. Oh, great defense here late in the third quarter for Maryland. Here is Holmes, top of the arc, dropped it down low. Rogers, the floater, no good. Tapped around and won by Sellers. Sellers, the outlet pass to Cook. Cook can fly. 2 blue jerseys with her. Pulls up from 18 and missed it. Morrow with the rebound, and the Terps right now just can't quite get over the hump to take the lead. Still down by 3. Cook reaching around, almost had another steal, but Rimmer will slow it down, and now it is Holmes at the top of the arc. Back to Rimmer, right side, in front of the DePaul bench. Maryland fans making a little bit of noise here in Fort Myers with 1:15 to go in the third. Handoff. Myers cut off the driver. Morrow, though, still able to sidestep the defender and gets fouled and will go to the line to shoot 2. Anissa Morrow, who came in averaging over 30 points per game for DePaul, has 11 right now and will go to the line for a couple of free throws. And DePaul has played good competition early. They're coming off a 15-point win against Miami. They also had a scrimmage against Texas where they lost by more than 40 points. But they've also had a couple of tight losses against good mid-major teams. So they beat Miami, but they lost to Northern Illinois and Cleveland State. First free throw, no good from Morrow. One of those games was in overtime. So it's been an up-and-down 2-2 start for DePaul, but they have played well today. Second free throw is also no good. So the Terps catch a break, down by 3. Miller puts her foot on the gas pedal, drives all the way to the lane for the Terps. Now resets to Sellers. Sellers saw an opening, tried to get inside, and then is met by 2 defenders and draws a foul. I don't know if it'll be in the act of shooting, as the foul is assessed to Peoples with exactly 1 minute on the clock, and they are going to give Cheyenne Sellers 2 free throws here. On the Cheryl Miller Award watch list as the best small forward in the country, Sellers with 2 free throws for Maryland. First one is up and good. Makes it a 2-point game, as close as the Terps have been since the first quarter. Second one is up and good. Sellers got them both. It's a 1-point game. Inbound to Holmes. Allen, met by 2 Terps, has to pull up her dribble and sling it the other way. Rogers now trapped. The pass wildly is stolen. Miller gets it back. Here's the lead pass to Cook. Cook goes up strong, hangs in the air, and spins it in. Gia Cook gives Maryland the lead. Less than a minute to go in the third. Now more trapping, and another steal. Myers stops in the passing lane. Myers at the free throw line puts up the floater. Back of the rim, no. Masonis kept it alive, but rebounded by Allen. DePaul will push. Morrow across midcourt. Morrow spins in the lane. Her lefty scoop shot is good, and DePaul regains the lead. Oh, this game has hit a crescendo here late in the third. Both teams up and down and able to finish around the rim. Miller, Myers, Cook, Masonis all getting in on the defensive act here late in the third. First free throw for Morrow. It's a completion of a 3-point play. She made it, and it's a 2-point lead for the Blue Demons. McDaniel will come in for Miller. Again, they don't want Miller to pick up that third foul. So she'll get 25 seconds on the bench. Maryland will have the ball with 25 seconds, so they'll hold for the final shot with no Diamond Miller in there. Gia Cook comes back to the basketball and will walk it up with 21 seconds remaining. Terps down by 2. They have certainly shown some fight here in the third. Cook burns some time. Now down to 10 seconds. Cook breaks left, hands to Sellers. 5 seconds. Sellers, top of the arc, defended tightly. Trying to turn the other direction. Fires underneath. McDaniel is open. Ball fake, but she missed the layup. Great move by Bree McDaniel. Everything but the finish. And so Maryland will head into the fourth quarter with a 2-point deficit. It's DePaul 47, Maryland 45, with a fresh 10 heading into the fourth quarter. You're listening to the Maryland Radio Network. We welcome you back to Fort Myers, Florida. John Vitas with you here on the Maryland Radio Network. Terrapins held a brief 22-second lead there at the end of the third. Morrow was able to get the lead back for DePaul. The Blue Demons lead by 2 as we start the fourth quarter. Morrow, Holmes, and Peoples all saddled with 3 fouls for DePaul, so something to keep an eye on there. Morrow, their leading scorer. Peoples and Holmes also starters for DePaul. Maryland with Diamond Miller, the only player with 3 fouls, so that's a very important storyline. Miller is in there to start the fourth. So we'll see if DePaul tries to target her on DePaul's offensive end. Much lower scoring game than we anticipated, but very competitive and close. A trap right away from Maryland. DePaul's first shot from Morrow is no good, but she got it back and has a chance for a 3-point play. Anissa Morrow continues to battle for DePaul. It feels like it's about to become the Morrow versus Miller show. Neither player anywhere near their season average yet, but they are leading their teams in scoring. Morrow now has 16. The free throw, though, is off the mark, and Miller gets the rebound. So DePaul by 4. Miller fires to the corner for Sellers. Sellers uses the Masonis screen, tries the baseline, steps back along 2, and it's good. Pretty shot from Cheyenne Sellers to make it a 2-point game, and here comes the Maryland full court press. 3 Terps in the backcourt. They get it to the middle. Peoples towards the baseline. Morrow had it blocked. Miller gets the block. Miller, the outlet pass, leads the charge for Maryland. Swings to the corner. Cook gives it up. Sellers on the drive. Inside. Feeds Miller. Falling back. Long 2. No good. Rebound brought in by Peoples. Peoples bulls over Cook. No call. Terps bench wanted it. They fire it ahead the other direction. This is Rogers. Rogers in on Miller. Circles all the way through the baseline. Looking for a teammate. Bounce pass. Able to find one. Now on the near side. Open 3 for Morrow. It's good. Anissa Morrow hits it to put DePaul up 5. Long pass ahead to Miller. Miller trying to beat the defense. Lefty scoop shot no good. Masonis fights for the offensive rebound and gets it back. Myers with it. Bounce pass Sellers. Sellers down the lane. Pulls up from 12. Rattles out. Oh, Masonis able to rip it away. Gets it back. Goes into traffic. Puts it in. Faith Masonis tripping over Blue Demons. Able to bank it home. And a chance for a 3-point play. What a hustle play by Masonis. It looked like that was DePaul's rebound all the way and was somehow able to get the basketball and bank it in as she fell over 2 defenders. You would think she'd be aware of the ACL tear she had 10 months ago, but does not care one bit. Makes the free throw, and it's a 2-point game. The bench absolutely ate that up. All kinds of energy from the Maryland coaching staff and players. 2-point game with 8:30 to go in the fourth quarter. More trapping from the Terps. DePaul's got to get it over, and it's a turnover. They threw it away. Maryland forces the turnover, and they will get it back down by 2. Miller will send it in from the near sideline. Brenda Freese going with 4 experienced players and Gia Cook, who has earned the opportunity with some great effort all day. Miller with it on the left wing, beyond the 3-point line, puts it on the floor, dribbles around the back, fires to the near side for Cook. Cook will tee up the 3, and it's too strong. Sellers battling for it on the baseline, and it's going to be DePaul ball. Great effort by Sellers. The official tripped over a photographer, and so we had to wait a second there to get the call. Allen going to inbound. More pressure from the Terps. Again, a 3-player trap in the backcourt. Myers slides over to guard Holmes. Holmes gets it ahead to Rogers, and then Cook knocks it away from behind. Oh, Gia Cook is so quick. Number 52 recruit in the country by ESPN. Got to 3 consecutive WCAC championship games for Bishop McNamara. Corner inbound for DePaul. Rogers looking for somebody to get it to. And it's stolen by Masonis. A feed up ahead to Miller. Outlet pass for Cook. Cook ahead of the pack is blocked. Great defensive play by Allen to deny Gia Cook. But you gotta love the way that Masonis and Miller are leading this comeback for Maryland. Again, the Terps have trailed by as many as 13 in this game. That was at the end of the second quarter with 2:24 to go. Maryland led for almost the entire third quarter. Trailed for the entire third quarter with the exception of 22 seconds. They've led for the first 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, but right now Gia Cook, who drew the foul there, has an opportunity to tie this game up. Cook's first is good. 9 points for Gia Cook in just 14 minutes of play. Spins the basketball, puts it up in the air, and makes the second. So Cook has tied this one up at 52. Full court press again for Maryland. Holmes picked up her dribble, finds Allen. Allen, though, with a long way to go, fires ahead to Holmes. They get it to the middle. Rimmer is the safety valve in the middle. Now hands to Rogers. Shot clock already down to 15. Rogers circles to the corner, looking for somewhere to go. Rogers looked for Allen. She was covered. 9 on the shot clock. Right side, Peoples gets around Myers. Peoples pulls up, and it's blocked by Miller. Back to DePaul at the shot clock buzzer. The three is no good, and Myers has the defensive rebound. Maryland looking to run. Sellers underneath. Masonis, the layup, and Maryland leads. Great ball movement by the Terrapins. And Masonis gives Maryland a 2-point lead with 7:16 to go in the fourth. DePaul calls a timeout. Doug Bruno wants to talk it over. And it looks like that will stretch to a media timeout. Maryland's got the lead with 7:16 to go.
Elevance Health is a proud title sponsor for the Elevance Health Women's Fort Myers Tip-Off. Elevance Health, your lifetime trusted health partner. It's now time for our second t-shirt toss off the game. If you want a t-shirt, stand up and make some noise. Don't forget the fans behind the scores table.
The Terrapins break the huddle with a lead for the first time today. 54-52 Maryland in the first of 3 games from the Elevance Health Fort Myers tip-off. It's been Masonis and Miller to lead the way defensively to set up the buckets on the other end. It's been all layups for Maryland off of some great lead passes. They really have not shot the three at all in this game. 5 for 21 from 3. But it's been the hustle buckets that have erased a 13-point DePaul lead. Allen going to inbound for the Blue Demons, working from right to left. Sellers on the ball. Allen and Holmes play catch. They have 4 seconds to get this thing over. towards midcourt. Sellers cuts him off, and they just barely get it over with Cook over to help. Now on the baseline, they dump it, swing it, right side open, 3 for Morrow. It's good, or rather Rogers, excuse me. Rogers hits the go-ahead 3 for DePaul. 55-54 Blue Demons. Here's the kick. Miller, top of the arc, through the leg, swings it left for Myers. Myers has been quiet. Masonis, baseline. Myers the cut, and Myers puts in a floater. Little 6-foot floater for Abby Myers gives Maryland the lead back. 56-55, 6.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Holmes breaks the press, then gets trapped, and they're going to call a foul against Maryland. It's going to be on Myers, who came in for the steal, but will be assessed a blocking foul. And so DePaul will send it in from in front of their own bench on the offensive end. The Terps have 15 offensive rebounds, and they've done a good job at the free throw line, at least getting to the free throw line more than DePaul. That's why they are still in this game despite shooting 29% from the field. Circling around, it's Holmes. Bounce pass to the free throw line. Now they swing it wide for Rogers. Rogers from the logo, 8 to shoot, hands to Rimmer. Rimmer defended tightly by Myers. Trying to drive on Myers, gets around the corner and lays it in. Masonis came over to help, but a tough left-handed shot for Rimmer to give DePaul a 1-point lead. Miller lost it at the free throw line, stolen by Rimmer, and then Rimmer lost it on the other way. Miller might have got a hand on it. Cook retrieves for the Terps and finds Sellers. Just under 6 minutes to play. Sellers calls out a play and resets at the top of the arc. Right side, Diamond Miller. Diamond Miller on the drive, trying to get through, kicks it open. Cook for 3, no. High rebound, Sellers tapped it around, but it's won by DePaul. Morrow ahead. This is Holmes running by herself on the fast break, and now Holmes will circle around and reset. 5:30 remaining in game 1 for Maryland this weekend. Handoff Holmes, left side, defended beyond the arc by Masonis. Now gets inside the arc, drives the lane. Lefty scoop is good. Kendall Holmes with a chance for a 3-point play. This has become a fantastic first game of this tournament. Pinzon will return. We haven't seen her in a while. Gia Cook has handled the point guard minutes here in the second half for Maryland. First one is up and through. So it's a 59-56 DePaul lead. Maryland works it into the offensive end. This is Myers on the far side. Tries the baseline. 2 defenders close. Cross-court pass into the corner. Miller back to Pinzon. Wide open for 3. No. High rebound. Tapped around and controlled by Rimmer. The shots are just not going down for Maryland from the outside. Rogers drives inside the arc. Now circles back around towards the top of the arc. Rogers, a contested 3, blocked by Miller. It ends up with DePaul, though. Rogers, a pump fake. Couldn't get free. Into the corner. Wide open is Holmes, and she nails it. Another big shot from Holmes. And it's back to a 7-point lead for DePaul. Sellers calls timeout. It'll be a 30-second timeout for the Terps, who have only 2 timeouts left. Just when it felt like Maryland might close and run away with this game, DePaul regains the lead with an 8-0 run. It was a 7-0 Maryland run before the timeout at the 7:16 mark. And now Maryland will have to use the timeout at the 4:39 mark because of an 8-0 DePaul run over a similar period of time, a minute and a half. And this game is flipped upside down. 14 points all of a sudden for Kendall Holmes, who has played 31 of the 35 minutes in this game. And now very little margin for error for the Terps. And they've got to get Diamond Miller in position to score. She has only 11 points on 3 of 10 shooting. Cook and Masonis have 10 each. But right now it's not enough for Maryland. Down by 7 with 4:39 remaining. They get the inbound to Pinzon. The Italian point guard swings to Sellers. Sellers right side Miller. Miller has to be assertive. Top of the arc. Drives hard. Inside, a foul, and it is an offensive foul. Diamond Miller picks up her 4th foul with 4:25 to go, and now she really can't be too aggressive down the stretch here, because if she picks up another one, her day is done. Full court press again for the Terps, down by 7 with 4:20 remaining. Across the midcourt line, Rogers is open for 3, no, and a foul on the rebound. Morrow is laying on her back under the hoop, and it looks like it's going to be a foul on Maryland. It'll be on Masonis. That's Masonis' 3rd foul. And DePaul is in the bonus now, so Morrow will have a couple of free throws with 4:15 on the clock, a chance to extend the DePaul lead. Morrow, a few dribbles, a couple more, now puts up the free throw, and it is no good. Didn't get the roll. Morrow is just 2 for 7 from the free throw line. Still has 19 points, the leading scorer for the Blue Demons this season. Second one is good. Makes it an 8-point lead for DePaul. Here is Sellers driving the lane, gets all the way through. Her spin shot is off the glass and down. Strong play from Sellers to make it 64-58. 4 minutes to go. Terps crashing defensively, and then a foul is called on Sellers. That'll put Allen at the line to shoot 2. That foul came shy of the midcourt line. If they didn't call the foul, it may have been a steal for the Terps, as Sellers got her hand on that basketball and asking the official what she saw, thinking that she might have gotten a steal there. Terps have forced 16 turnovers, but it hasn't been enough so far. Allen misses the first, so that'll help. Exactly 4 minutes remaining in the game. Second free throw is up and good. 65-58 DePaul with under 4 minutes to go. Pins on, fires it up ahead to Sellers. Sellers on the far side, drives the baseline and lays it in. Too easy. Morrow didn't play any defense there, and Sellers took advantage. 5-point game. Here's a Maryland trap. Terps have 3 players on the baseline, and they force a turnover. Holmes saying it should have been a foul, but she stepped on her own end line. Maryland driving DePaul backwards. Cook is back in there for Maryland. Pinzon comes out. Maryland down by 5 with 3:44 left. Here's the lob for Miller, who catches beyond the 3-point line. Up top, Sellers with a nice move, pulls the long 2, rattles in and out and back in. It goes every part of the room for Sellers. 3-point game. Collision under the hoop, but no call. Outlet pass for Holmes, gets it across to Rimmer. Rimmer cross-court pass, Rogers. Rogers tries the step-back 3, and that one splashes through. DePaul doubles their lead, back up by 6, and then Miller throws it away. Rimmer gets another steal. Stepped in the passing lane in front of Abby Myers with 3:10 to go. DePaul 68, Maryland 62. Right side, Rogers over the logo. Drives inside, kicks to the corner. Rimmer will tee up the 3. That one's too strong, but Miller couldn't snare the rebound. It goes off the palm of her hand and out of bounds. It'll be a corner inbound for DePaul with the shot clock at 20 seconds. Myers guarding the sideline. The pass comes in successfully for Allen. Allen had it poked free. Masonis got her hand on it, but it'll stay with the Blue Demons with 17 to shoot. 2:52 on the game clock. Maryland down by 6. They've continued to come back all day, but just have not been able to string together enough shots to take control of this game. Handoff, top of the arc, crossover dribble. Good defense from Cook. Holmes has to hand it off with 6 to shoot. Rogers at the half-court line with 5 to shoot. Gets inside, circles through on Cook. 2 to shoot. Floater is up and no good. Rebound handled by Abby Myers. Outlet pass Sellers. Here comes Sellers. Right down the heart of the defense. Kicks to Miller. Wide open for 3. No. Sellers taps around the rebound. Gets the rebound, but a foul. Who's it going to be on? And it's going to be on DePaul. Only their third foul. Maryland will have it under the DePaul hoop with 2:25 remaining. Terps still down by 6. Sellers lobs to Miller, had it poked away, and then Morrow couldn't save it. So Maryland will have another inbound from the corner with 2:23 on the clock. It's Sellers to send it in, gets to Miller off the screen left wing. Miller gets the screen from Myers, drawing a ton of defensive attention. Has to hand to Myers. Myers, a long three, back of the rim, no, and the rebound to DePaul. Rogers across the midcourt line, and now Maryland has to be close to perfect. 2:06 remaining, down by 6. DePaul with the ball. Terps need a stop. Top of the arc, this is Allen. Right side, Rimmer. All alone with Gia Cook, who plays tight defense. Sellers does as well. Here's the pass underneath. Allen threw on Miller. Miller gets the block, able to avoid picking up her 5th foul, and here come the Terps. Myers the other way, inside the arc. Tried to squeeze it down low for Miller, and it's a jump ball. I believe, the arrow will keep it with Maryland. They needed that jump ball. 1:45 to go. 24 on the shot clock for Maryland. Terps need a bucket, down by 6. Miller gets it to the corner. Masonis drives the baseline, gets inside and scores. They were all following Miller. Masonis faked the pass and laid it in herself. 4-point game with 1:35 to go. They get it ahead to Rogers, who turns the corner. Bounce pass underneath and an easy layup for Morrow. Good ball movement against the press from DePaul. Back up by 6. 70-64. Cook on the push. Gets inside and draws the foul. No, it's called a travel. Gia Cook turns it over with 1:20 remaining. There's a bounce pass against the pressure from Holmes. Holmes lobs it across midcourt. And now Rogers will back it up and burn some clock. 1:13 remaining. Maryland still down by 6. DePaul looking for a signature win against a ranked team. This is Morrow with 14 to shoot. Morrow circles around on Cook, gets by Cook, puts up the floater and missed it. Miller the rebound, 1 minute to go. Miller across midcourt, fires it left for Miller. In the corner, tough angle, Sellers for 3, no good. Ball tapped around, Masonis can't get it. Holmes the defensive rebound. Rimmer gets it, and now a foul against the Terps. Sellers will give the foul with 47 seconds remaining. And now Maryland is fully dependent on DePaul missing free throws. With 47 seconds on the game clock, DePaul may be pulling off their biggest win of the season. Coming off a Power 5 win against Miami after 2 losses against mid-majors in mid-November. This may be the signature win they've been looking for. Rimmer, the lefty free throw is good. Makes it a 7-point Blue Demon lead. They're not even going to rebound here. DePaul will back all the way up to play defense as Rimmer tees up the second. It is up, and it is no good. Miller gets the rebound. They have to hurry. 45 seconds and counting. Miller will run it. Wanted to call timeout. Brenda Free says, no, just go. Miller's floater is short, and she can't get her own rebound. And it's out of bounds to DePaul. That is not the Diamond Miller that put up 32 points to beat Baylor. Wanted to call timeout. Maryland said no, just go, and just a weak floater that came up short. And now DePaul will try and burn some clock. 32 seconds to get it across midcourt. Miller commits her 5th foul, and that's going to be it for Diamond Miller. She will foul out with 31 seconds remaining, head straight over to the Maryland bench, and it's just not the Terrapins' day. Plenty of respectful applause from the Maryland fans for Diamond Miller, who is out of this game with 11 points and 5 rebounds, but just 3 out of 12 from the floor. Free throw goes down for Rogers to make it an 8-point DePaul lead. 3-possession game with 31 seconds to go. Coach Bruno, again, telling his ladies to get all the way back on defense. Don't commit any fouls. Let Maryland go the length of the floor. Brenda Freeze will call a timeout with her team down by 9. Gia Cook remains in there in crunch time, the freshman point guard, getting as much run as she has all season. Brenda with the whiteboard out. Actually, she's at midcourt. It's the assistant coaches directing traffic now. It's going to have to be some quick threes and some misses on the other end for DePaul. 2 more games for Maryland to rebound if they can't come back here. But they'll certainly be frustrated with this result. If Maryland can't hold on or can't come back here, we will talk to Brenda postgame to get some thoughts on this first matchup in Fort Myers. We asked her yesterday, we said, are these players ready for an 11 a.m. tip-off? And she said, hey, we practice at 8 a.m. So yes, this is just a really strong performance from DePaul. And Diamond Miller not able to quite put her team on her back today. And it's not something you should expect from her. There's plenty of other talented players here, but they just have not been able to hit shots. Myers lobs. Holmes almost had the steal. They get it back to Myers. Myers pulls up from 3 and drains it. Beautiful shot by Myers to make it a 6-point game. Now the Terps need a steal. Inbound for Holmes, and Sellers will foul Holmes with 27 seconds left. So that shot by Myers keeps Maryland's hopes alive just a bit. That is just the 6th 3 of the game for the Terps. Now 6 for 27, which is 22%. First free throw for Holmes is good. Gia Cook with a career-high 20 minutes played. And a career-high 10 points. Second free throw is good. And another Brenda Freeze timeout. Maryland now out of timeouts with 27 seconds to go. It's DePaul 75 and Maryland 67. It's a full timeout, so we will take a quick break here on the Maryland Radio Network. John Vitas welcoming you back to the Suncoast Credit Union Arena here in Fort Myers, Florida. Game 1 of 3 this weekend for Brenda Freeze's Terps, and they are in danger of losing the first game. Down by 8 with 27 seconds to go. Abby Myers lobs an inbound to Alexander. Myers, the corner 3 is up and off the backboard, no good. Holmes, the rebound. Holmes gets fouled, and that should just about do it for Maryland's hopes here this afternoon. Holmes will get 2 free throws to try and make it a 10-point game with only 21 seconds to go. Again, Diamond Miller has fouled out. So the Terps' leading scorer on the bench here in crunch time. Looks like Briggs is getting set to check back in with 21 seconds left. Holmes misses the first. It spins off. Myers made her first three-point attempt here in the final minute, but missed the second. We'll see if they go back to her on the next possession as Holmes makes the second. It's a 9-point lead now for DePaul as Sellers returns for Cook. So no true point guard on the court. Sellers will bring the ball up, joined by Alexander, Briggs, Myers, and Masonis. Veteran group right now for Maryland. Sellers lets the ball roll all the way to midcourt, now picks it up. She's going to go. Steps back. The 3 for Sellers is up off the back of the rim, and the rebound down to DePaul. Morrow will bring it across midcourt, and that will do it. 10 seconds and counting. Maryland will not foul, and the DePaul Blue Demons are going to get a ranked victory here on day one of the Elevance Health Fort Myers tip-off. The final buzzer sounds here in Fort Myers, and it's the Blue Demons to get the upset win here on Friday. 76-67 the final score. As Maryland falls to 4-2, DePaul will improve to 3-2, and both teams have 2 more games to go here this weekend. Stay tuned. Brenda Fries will join us in just a couple of minutes to talk about this one, but certainly not the result she wanted. Here from the Suncoast Credit Union Arena, as Coach Fries heads off the court with her Maryland Terrapins. A 9-point loss here in Game 1 as we take a look at some of the final numbers. Maryland led by Cheyenne Sellers, 13 points, 5 rebounds on 5-11 shooting, only 21 minutes. Sellers didn't play a ton of minutes in the first half. Was really helpful for Maryland's comeback in the second half. 12 points for Faith Musonis on 10 rebounds, so it's a double-double for Faith Musonis. 5 of 8 from the field, and she did come up with some of those key plays there down the stretch in the third quarter when Maryland came back and erased that 13-point deficit. 11 points for Diamond Miller, fouled out with 5 rebounds. Abby Myers had 10, but was well below 50% from the field. Gia Cook with a career-high 10 points and a career-high 20 minutes. As Maryland shoots just 21% from beyond the arc, just 32% for the game. As Cheyenne Sellers is headed up to talk with us, so we appreciate her coming up here. Cheyenne, have a seat. Grab the mic. Thank you so much for coming up here after that one. But you and Faith kind of leading that defensive comeback there. You guys were able to take the lead, but DePaul pulls away at the end. What do you feel led to the final score today?
I feel like we had a little close shooting night. It's going to happen, but we had to figure out ways to, overcome that. I think DePaul did a really good job of coming out strong in the first half. And, we picked up our defensive intensity for the second half. But overall, we got to have a complete game next game and start out strong. And we can't have half a good game.
There were some bright spots. You played pretty well today. And Gia Cook, the freshman, played a career-high 20 minutes. She had a career-high with 10 points as well. And it seemed like Coach Fries really trusted her in some key moments of this game. What have you seen from Gia that makes you really confident about the rest of her season and her career here at Maryland?
Gia's phenomenal. She's going to give energy and effort all the time. I think her speed and her athletic ability really helps her prevail on the court. The coach really trusted her on the defensive side because, she was bringing a lot of energy. She was getting traps with me. She just does a lot for us. And, for a freshman, I think she did pretty well.
I know this isn't the result you wanted here on day one, but you do have 2 more games to go here in Fort Myers. You're enjoying the sunshine here in beautiful Southwest Florida. A great family dinner for Thanksgiving yesterday. Even though this isn't the score you wanted on game 1, how can a tournament like this and an experience like this help your team grow moving forward?
You can learn a lot from every game. We're going to go back and watch film, but we just got to continue to play together. We have a lot of new pieces, so we're still trying to figure everything out together. But I think it'll come in due time, but we got a game tomorrow, so we got to bounce back, lock in, go watch film, rest, recover, and, we'll be better tomorrow.
Cheyenne Sellers, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it, and best of luck tomorrow morning.
Thank you for having me.
There you have it. Cheyenne Sellers joining us here, the sophomore from Ohio, kind enough to come up to our perch here at the Suncoast Credit Union Arena as Maryland goes down by a final score of 76-67. Yes or no on Brenda? Okay. So that'll do it for our broadcast. Hope you enjoyed our audio feed here on the Maryland Radio Network. We'll be back on the air for you the next 2 days. No TV tomorrow. So we'll be your only broadcast option. There will be a video stream on fswbucks.com, but no commentary over that. So feel free to sync us up with that video feed here from the Suncoast Credit Union Arena. Big thank you to the Maryland staff for putting this all together. We've got all 3 games for you here this weekend. Once again, your final score from Fort Myers, DePaul 76 and Maryland 67 as your 14th ranked Terps drop one here this weekend on their Thanksgiving trip down to Southwest Florida. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back with you a few minutes before tip-off tomorrow at 11:30 as the Terps take on Towson here from Fort Myers.